Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I am your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome a very, very senior and accomplished professional from the world of fintech, from Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Kirwin Narine. Kirwin, welcome to the show.
My pleasure, Ash. Such a pleasure being with you and your amazing audience.
Thank you. Kirwin is the founder and president of Juice Spaces. He's also been named out as among the top 100 people to watch out for in 2023. So, Kirwin, before we start talking about the fintech space and all the great work you're doing in Juice Spaces, tell me about your own journey in brief.
Oh, beautiful. Happy to be here with everyone in your community, Ash. Being a Caribbean boy, growing up in the Caribbean, it's truly a magical place. And I believe you will relate to this. It was the days of Vivian Richards, Brian Lara,
Andy Roberts,
Curtly Ambrose, Sachin Tendulkar.
I know.
Our passions were cricket and football, what our American friends unfortunately call soccer.
I know.
But yet somehow lurking in the shadows, there were these sad people who had well-pressed shirts and ties going to this dreadful place called work. And this frightened me because I knew that I was going to be joining them someday. And this led me to ask perhaps some of the deeper questions of life about destiny, purpose, and love. And how can I live a life that is meaningful and impactful? And being a technology lover, starting at a young age, the largest technology training school in the Caribbean, the opportunity and the ability to marry technology with global impact, to me was fascinating. And so I would say that sort of sums up my journey.
Amazing.
You know, how do we make the world a better place and use technology to accomplish these things?
Wonderful. So let's talk about Juice Spaces. Tell me about this venture and what was the background of this unusual name for a technology venture?
Well, that's a good question. Well, we want to be hip, right? We want to be cool because being cool has a powerful value to it.
Correct. Yes.
And a lot of the young people say, we've got the juice. And so Juice Spaces is all about exploration. And we think of the technology space, we think of the metaverse, we think about space exploration, which you have a lot of history in, and we say it's a Milky Way, but we love to say it's a juicy way. So the idea behind it, it's not a beverage company, right? A lot of people might say, you're a beverage company, but our idea behind it is we've got the juice, all the juice you can ever want. So Ash Juice Spaces is all about connecting creators or creatives and communities using digital assets to transform industries to make the planet a better place. So that's the genesis and the core of what we do at Juice Spaces.
And you also do a lot of work in the area of fintech, you know, from non-fungible tokens to the Web3 to blockchains, metaverse. Tell me about the work you do in the tech space.
Okay, beautiful. We have a lot of amazing projects. I think a good question also is, why did we choose digital assets and NFTs? What was the idea behind that? And Ash, it's all about community. I think of brands, and we all familiar with this brand called Blockbuster. And it was a blockbuster. We'd go in there and we'd rent movies, and it was a beautiful experience. And so many Blockbuster locations throughout the world, throughout America. And then here comes technology. Sometimes it seems like it does not care about our dreams and our visions and our ambitions, because here came technology, Netflix, and just disrupted an entire industry. And so as we've seen businesses go from traditional models to subscription models, I personally found there were things that were still lacking. How do creatives or creators get direct fan engagement? Because when you produce content on Netflix, you don't have that deep connection with a community. And so combining technology and community, I think this is where NFTs really stand out, non-fungible tokens. It brings communities together. And so that's exciting for me. And when we look at the Web3 space and what's emerging with decentralized economies, disrupting industries, but it's really a libertarian point of view. It's democratizing the internet. It's freedom. You know, Ash, when we go to a restaurant, it might be a beautiful place, but if the food is not good, we're not going back there again.
Correct.
And we never ask the waiter, are you using an electric stove or a gas stove? Perhaps we care very little about the technology that's being used behind the scenes. What really matters is the conversation's beautiful and is the food tasting great. And so technology is emerging. It's always changing. We're excited about film cameras, and then here came digital cameras, and here came iPhone and Samsung disrupting the market. And if you're going to be married to technology, you're going to find that you're going to be challenged as the world moves on. So it's what about the values, or what are the things that will not change? And it's beautiful conversations like we're having right now, Ash, because that's what it is. Web 2, Web 3, it's all about deeper, more immersive conversations. And that's the excitement for us as a brand at Juice Spaces. What role is NFTs, fintech, cryptocurrencies, metaverse, Web3 technology going to play in the future of humanity? And if we think about the amazing advancements that the internet has brought to the world, we can only look forward to what a democratized internet will mean for humanity.
Very well said. Very well said. So let's start with the democratized internet, which is Web 3.0, where you can actually read, write, and own. Right? But how are you using Web 3.0 to be able to meet so many of your objectives to better the planet?
Oh, I love that question. Well, Ash, as we said, it's all about global impact. Let me give you a specific example of one of the projects that we have at Juice Spaces. We have this amazing project called the Royals Project at Juice Spaces, where we bring together thought leaders, founders of some of the amazing NFT projects that we are all familiar with. They've come together under this Juice Spaces umbrella called the Royals Project, which is projects that are designed by the community for the community. So it's great minds come together and they say, let's do an NFT project. It could be fintech. It can be a digital art project. It can be, right now we have a beautiful project that deals with the music industry. But Ash, here's the exciting thing about it. It brings together the world, Netherlands, India, Australia, Japan. It's the world coming together to think about how we can change the world for better. 70% of the profits go back to the community, and 30% of the project profits go to charity.
Wow.
And I don't know if there's anything that can do that as the NFT space is doing. You know, when we think about charitable social impact, global impact, a lot of the times it's lost in translation. So $100, sometimes 90-something% goes in the administration.
Correct.
And just 1% may actually go to the cause. When we bring together these collaborative efforts from communities around the world, we can not only identify the problems of the world, but we can target these problems with the resources of the collective mind and the inputs of this decentralized, and perhaps a term that is going to revolutionize the world is going to be DAOs. These decentralized autonomous organizations that come together as equals. We dream together, you vote on projects, and yes, you're creating personal wealth, and there is that wealth creation component. But even greater than that to me is the component of transforming lives around the world.
Well said. Well said. And are you using NFTs for music, art, and some of the other amazing initiatives that are being taken in the Caribbean?
Definitely. There are three main initiatives at Juice Spaces. One, it's the Royals Project, right? And that's all about charitable endeavors. But we have another project, another main category of NFT projects at Juice Spaces. It's called native projects. And those are projects that are linked to real life businesses. So our native projects are, for example, our music project deals with gospel music in the Caribbean. We are working towards $1 billion industry in the Caribbean, identifying young emerging talent and connecting them to the global music space. And that's phenomenal. We've signed the top 10 musicians in that space in the Caribbean who are part of the project that we're doing. And it's transforming communities, because a lot of the young people, perhaps in there's no other way to describe it, right? Perhaps in the ghettos and some of the really impoverished communities, these are the people they look up to. And so we are seeing a lot of the people within the communities rise into global stardom, having that level of exposure that digital assets can bring. But additionally, we're working on an amazing project with some amazing women around the world. It's called the Tiffany's Identity Project. It's the Best Beautiful You Project. It's all about inspiring women, motivating women, and the project has a goal to raise up 1,000 female entrepreneurs around the world. And we're doing that project by some amazing women like Elizabeth Guerrino, some women that you may know, Shelly Zales, really amazing leaders in the world who are not just talking the talk, but they've been walking the walk. And so when we think about what we are doing at Juice Spaces, how we are combining, and perhaps a very good question would be, in what area would say that Juice Spaces is distinctive?
Sure.
I believe that we're not just doing digital assets, and we're not just disrupting industries, but for us to take on a project, it must be worthy. So it must be making a global social impact. That's what excites us. That's the core of who we are, Juice Spaces. And so we think about the Royals Project, which is all about giving back to our community and giving back to charity. We think about the music project we do. It's all about discovering talent. The Tiffany's Identity Project we do, it's all about empowering women in the world and reaching 3.9 billion women on the planet. When we bring together great female minds, the phenomenal female CEOs of the world, and we make that mentorship available to the young girls and communities around the world, that's going to be, I think it's going to be an eye-opener and very impactful for a lot of the young girls growing up.
Absolutely. Well said. The other thing I wanted to get your perspective was on how are you using blockchain, which is bringing in a lot of transparency into transactions. How are you using blockchain in Juice Spaces?
Oh, that's a beautiful question. I would say blockchain as a technology. You know, a lot of people wonder about NFT assets. Should they invest in it? They wonder about the Web3 space, if it's going to be real. It seems to, Ash, it seems to go up like a rocket, right? And it also seems to come down like a rocket.
Correct.
And there's a lot of it that seems like the wild, wild west.
Yep.
And in fact, I was chatting with my dad recently, and he said to me, son, is this Web3 thing, is this metaverse blockchain thing, is it going to stay? And I said to him, that's like asking me, is TCP/IP or the internet going to be around in the early days?
Correct.
And what about regulations? What about governments? What about the SEC? What about all these things? It's hard to stop technology. And blockchain is a technology. And because we're using Web3 technology, because we're using the NFT space, and a lot of the apps we're doing, like the marketplace, the Tiffany's Identity has a marketplace for women. It's designed by women for women. And we want the benefits of centralization. We are embracing this libertarian point of view when it comes to the internet. And so the blockchain technology is underpinning all of what we do, because we are building on, yes, ETH, Solana. We are building on the popular layer 1 blockchain technology, but the core, it's the benefits that it brings of decentralization, permissionless economies, freedom. I think, Ash, where someone applied for a loan in the bank, they go to the bank, they line up in the bank, they fill out forms, they wait for approval, they may be denied, they may have to come back and fill out more forms. And what blockchain and decentralized finance is promising us, that it's going to be permissionless. And you can take a loan in under 5 minutes.
Wow.
Using ETH as your collateral. And so we are in the early days, and in the early days of anything, it seems a lot like the Wild Wild West. It seems a lot like space travel, and there may be a lot of casualties.
Correct.
But the technology that's behind blockchain, it's going to continue to grow and disrupt communities. So to answer your question, Ash, everything we're doing is underpinned by blockchain technology. And the NFTs that we are launching, they are being launched on the ETH platform.
Amazing. So moving forward now, Kirwin, you know, we've spoken about NFT, we've spoken about Web3, we've spoken about blockchain. I also want to get your perspective on the metaverse. Because the metaverse is something which the whole world seems to be moving in. And who knows, maybe next year, you and I could be having a conversation in a coffee shop sitting on Mars. So how are you using the metaverse for your projects?
Well, the metaverse is sort of the end goal at Juice Spaces. And if you look at our roadmap sort of comes to an end with the galaxy metaverse. Exploration of the galaxy and exploration of planets within the metaverse. Now, I'm a technology person. I started off teaching for Novell as a master Novell instructor. And then I began to teach for Microsoft as a Microsoft certified trainer. And then I went on to teach ethical hacking, if there can be such a thing.
Okay.
In spite of being a technology person, I don't think technology is the star. The experience is the star. And the metaverse is going to unlock the imagination. We've all experienced dreams. Some of them have been nightmares. Some of them have been beautiful dreams that when someone woke us up, we were like, why did you wake me up? I had a beautiful dream. And in our dreams, sometimes we fly. Sometimes we're walking in Switzerland. Sometimes we're in India. Sometimes we're on the beach in the Caribbean. And so the metaverse, I don't think it's going to disappear. I don't think it's a passing fad. For Facebook to rebrand itself Meta, they certainly see value in it.
Yep.
And so the metaverse is all about, who do you want to be? Where do you want to be? It's unlocking the human potential and the imagination. And so virtual reality, augmented reality, I believe it's here to stay. And sometimes when projects, technologies are in their infancy, we perhaps are quick to discredit them. And sometimes the future is not going to look like how it looks today. And so anyone who says they are Web3 expert or they're a metaverse expert.
Yeah.
I think they're having a esteemed view of themselves. So the metaverse, it's imaginative. I'm wondering what it's going to be in the future for us at Juice Spaces. It's where we see our projects leading to. I think of the movie Matrix, which has become so popular, of course. It's had a cult following.
Yeah.
And everyone in the Web3 metaverse community, of course, we hold up Ready Player One as a standard. But the technology is going to get better. Who's going to render the metaverse? But eventually, as you rightfully said, Ash, our meetings, Web 1 was amazing, right? Web 1 is, if you can use the term Web 1, it's all about just viewing content like a newspaper. Web 2 is about creating conversations.
Correct.
And Web 2 is about, I've seen something I like, so I share it, and we have a conversation about it. But Web 2, we're really only activating perhaps audio, voice, and video.
Correct.
But as human beings, we connect to the natural world with more senses, with smell, taste, touch. The metaverse is going to unlock much of that. And people in the future, they're going to be able to see you. Ash, let's think about this use case, which I think is so phenomenal. Many people in the hospitals who are bedridden, and they can put on a suit and VR technology, and while they're there in the hospital, they're on the beach, in the island of Tobago, they can feel the breeze, they can feel the sun on their face, and it might be therapeutic, right? But so this technology is not going to pass away like a fad. Perhaps a lot of the investments, I'll be hesitant to say to someone to just go invest in an NFT project as their main investment. I think a lot of people enjoy exploration. They understand a spaceship can crash in an attempt to land on Mars. You know, so it's that beautiful exploration that the Web3 space is bringing to us now, but it's the promises of a great future.
Correct.
You know, that's what I think.
Very well said. And my last question for you, Kirwin, and this is for the many, many people who will listen to our conversation. Based on your own amazing journey, and in the world of technology, in the world of what I would say cutting edge technology, what would you say are 3 lessons you want our viewers and listeners to take away?
Wow. Firstly, I would say, don't be afraid to dream. Don't be afraid to imagine, and don't be afraid to create. You'll be surprised that there would be an amazing community waiting for you. You don't have to do it alone. Second, Ash, I would say that life for us, we think that we're going to be happy if someone could love us. But real happiness is found when you love others. So I would say to you, find a community that's worthy of your love. And don't be afraid to serve and to pour out your heart.
Correct.
And lastly, Ash, how short life is. We miss the glorious strokes of Tendulkar and Lara. We celebrate when he broke the world records. We celebrate the centuries of Sachin. But life goes so quickly. For me personally, in my life, and I would say to the viewers, the listeners, you cannot give what you don't have. And certainly you cannot give love if you too have never been loved. Personally, for myself, involved in charitable projects, and as a Christian, I look for people to model my life around. And for me, there's no other person than the life of Jesus Christ. His life was short, but his impact, unquestionable. In fact, to the degree of dividing or affecting the measurement of time. So I would say, as a last point, your life is shorter than you think. Don't waste time or the moments of your life. And ask yourself this question. And perhaps my last takeaway could be in the form of a question.
Right.
How do you want people to remember you when you're gone? And for me, maximum success or maximum happiness or fulfillment in life is when we are loved and we are loving others. So how do I live a life that values humanity and values people, where someone who meets me, like meeting you today, Ash, on this conversation, how do I leave someone knowing that they are loved and valuable?
Very interesting. And on that note, Kirwin, and your amazing lessons, don't be afraid to dream, imagine, and create. We must remember, when we love others, that's when we are happy. So find a community you can love. Third one you said was, life is shorter than you think. Don't waste it. And final one, which was very, very important and very intense, is how do you want people to remember you once you're gone? Thank you so much for talking to me about your amazing journey. Thank you for talking to me about Juice Spaces. You have so easily explained in such wonderful ways terms that most people are still grappling with, Web 1.0, Web 2.0, Web 3.0, NFT, blockchain, metaverse, and how you believe a lot of these can be used by the common people. Thank you for speaking to me, and good luck to you.
My pleasure, Ash.
Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.